Okay, music stopped, camera's recording, got second camera going, we're good to go. I have just sold a couple of my IKEA chairs, and I managed to return a bucket of paint, so I got some toys. This is Milwaukee organizer, this is Dewalt organizer, and then I got some little Husky organizers as well. Specific uses for these little guys, but I'm also interested to see which of these two I prefer. Then I'm going to organize my big box of stuff. So here we go. Does that open more? No, that stops there. This Milwaukee one, I cannot open it further than that. It's pretty deep. I'm not sure if I'm going to like how deep that is in terms of getting all the little bits and screws out. One thing that does make this a little bit different from the Dewalt one is this is cheap, but it does have slots so you could like mount it to your wall. I don't see that ever being used by anyone anywhere. This doesn't come out. I do notice about the Milwaukee one is it's wider than the DeWalt one. This one you can see is a little tippy, and this one is a lot more stable. Like this guy's still going. There's no hands here. Give a bit of a tip to that. That's a long time to slow down. So then I also got this DeWalt one here. This also doesn't open any further. These guys are more shallow. Like so. That's a pretty big difference. And in terms of, do you store a lot of screws or a normal amount of screws? My impression is I'm gonna prefer flat and open and like easy to get my mitts in there. Compared to this guy, it feels more crampy. Here's where I started looking at the way you can arrange the different containers in the DeWalt. It was allowing me to do some stuff, but left me with some blank spaces. The Milwaukee one, with its square boxes, lets you arrange it however you want. So those are the big ones for the lots of screws. Then I got two little Husky dudes. And boy, do I have a lot of IKEA junk. Nails. They're quite wobbly. That's a good amount. Even this doesn't even fill up half of one of these guys. There's just such a difference in volume and shape. These might actually go in one of these little guys. This is part of why I want to do this. I've got a whole bunch of these wood screws, but there's like 6 of them, but they're a little bit different from this. Of course they can't go in the same one. 8 by 3/4, 1 1/4 inch finishing nails. You just buy it over the years and you don't toss it when you've used like the 6 that you needed. Metal screws, 8 by 1.5, pile of leftover nuts. Your 832s and your 632s. 12 by 1.5 wood screws. Common nails. Well, here we go, here's my 632s to go with these guys. 8 by 3/4, countersunk. 8 by 5/8, pan-headed. Oi! Okay, toggle bolts. How to use a toggle bolt? I know how to use a toggle bolt. I wanted to come up with some way to label things, so I checked out what anyone else had done. And apparently no one does anything for it. The closest I found was one guy printing off things and putting them in with the bits. Unopened. Well, I can do a mock-up, but than the Milwaukee is just so tall. The other thing about the Milwaukee is it's cheaper, but I don't like how deep they are. Milwaukee does give me more overall storage space, but I don't think I need it. I'll be able to get everything I need into one of these. Double check that real quick. This is the only one I have any doubt about, and that's really not a problem. Which one would you choose? 1.2, 2.4 for Milwaukee, twice as heavy. It is twice as thick, so that makes sense. I think I may just be being a fuss. Difficult with sweaty hands. Sweaty, but not stinky. Thanks, Amex. Alright, Dewalt, you did a good solid there. That didn't tear at all. Good job. In the end, I decided not to go with the Milwaukee. The hang it on the wall thing is a nice feature, but it's not one I would ever use. Being able to orient them is a nice feature. Not something I particularly care about. I prefer these clamps. I like that it has a folding handle. This one is just kind of built in and you lose a little bit of space out of that. So many of the things I needed to organize, I've only got like a little bit of. This is a tremendous waste of space, but that's even worse. There were a lot of things I didn't like about the Dewalt. I can't orient it however I want. That would be fine, but then you can't do anything with this space, so you kind of have to do like this. I didn't like on either of them that you can't open the top past 90 degrees, and I liked also that the default containers more closely fit into here. One of the big things I learned is that there is no intelligent way to label your stuff. You're either writing on masking tape or printing stuff out, hunting and pecking through it all. I just decided to cut the little labels off and toss them in there. I think that's ridiculous. I would love to see someone come up with a labeling system. Perhaps you take your hanging pack and you tear the top off and then it slides into a slot somewhere on your default container. This is another example of how like labels would be great, especially dealing with little tiny bolts, 1024s and 832s. I don't want to be trying to figure out which one's which without a label. Maybe some guys can do that. I'm not one of those guys. That's okay. Oh, dude! I got a bag of bags of computer fluff. So I'll have to get another one of those when I'm there, and then I can spend another chunk of time organizing this stuff.